like giving it your best in terms of, okay, this is what you want to pursue. It's at the end of the day, you're trying to create something that is going to be useful for people. I think there is a key takeaway all the time, because that each has their own struggle and their journey, and if there is some aspect that they have conquered and some element of which I can apply to my business, I'd be more than happy to learn from them. Takeaway, the quote is there, right? Success is not defined in the outcome. Success is defined in the process. So
Hey, everybody. Welcome back to Curry Meets Crossover, and this is episode number 13. So, this is the podcast where we unpack the real and unfiltered journeys of international students and global professionals chasing dreams far from home. So, today's episode is genuinely very special for me, and I was really looking forward to it because our guest isn't just accomplished, he's also been a personal mentor and a huge source of inspiration since the very beginning of my journey. He's the founder and the CEO of Vilay Sports, a powerhouse in the world of sports management. From pursuing sports law in Spain to building a career that now spans across borders, his story is a masterclass in resilience, risk taking, and vision. So grab yourself a coffee, get comfy, and join me in welcoming the inspiration behind my journey, Siddharth Ram, to Curry Meets Crossover. So let's dive towards this episode. Hi Siddharth, welcome to Curry Meets Crossout today. I'm really happy that I'm sharing today's episode with you and this platform with you. And yeah, I'm glad that people will get to know your insights and your journey as an international student when you were in Spain. Well, how do you feel today?
I'm looking forward to the podcast, Amrita, considering that we were colleagues, and now nice to know that I get an opportunity to be on your platform. It speaks volumes about you. So yeah, looking forward to this, dude.
Thank you so much. But yeah, can you tell us like what inspired you to go towards sports law and how that led to you being in Spain and pursuing sports law?
As a background qualification, I did complete my law school at
Mm.
Jindal. I did the program for close to 5 years, and honestly, sports was never fit in as something that I wanted to pursue down the line. It only towards my final semester did I like try to analyze and understand like what exactly are my strong suits, and that's where I realized that throughout my life I've been exposed to a lot of competitive sports, and given the passion for sports and also what exactly I could make the most with the graduation that I had, I wanted to try out the sports law field. And considering it is a niche industry and it is a market where today it is like upwards of $80 billion, I think it is definitely an industry that it's worthwhile exploring, and making just something that I wanted to try different, essentially.
Correct. Well said. But you also mentioned that, in the process, things get journey. I'm sure, like, you were an international student, so it was not easy for you also to settle in, to socialize. So, how did you overcome your loneliness, your days as being an international student?
Traveling to Spain wasn't my first time visiting a country as a foreigner, living that life. So I wanted to kind of tweak my approach in terms of how I wanted to get adjusted, especially in non-English speaking country like Spain, right? Like even in India and in Bangalore, you're so comfortable, you can just speak in English, and it's like so easy, and everything is like straight to the point. But over there, it's you the I think I would have to kind of start in terms of where from the beginning of my masters, what are some of the things that I did which I felt that helped me along the process. So first and foremost, I made this conscious decision that I wanted to live in a shared apartment, not sharing it with any of my classmates or anything as such. I wanted to move into a flat where I get an opportunity to live with other students, but probably from different nationalities, because that itself gives a huge perspective in terms of like how exactly you got to be adjusted. over there. So I think I stayed in a 6 BHK flat,
Wow.
and I was the only Indian over there. And I think we had, yeah, I think my some of my flatmates were from a couple of cities in Spain. One was from Mexico, one was from France, one was from Switzerland. So having that uh, a kind of very different environment where, in terms of, you're not dependent on anyone, right?
Yeah.
It's something that, okay, you're living in your own cocoon, and you got to kind of find a way to adapt to whatever is around you. So I think that would be my biggest uh, positive key takeaway that I'm really glad to have done, because that's because of being in a kind of I wouldn't say uncomfortable zone, but somewhere where you're not closer to the college and you need to learn more about your surroundings, right?
Exactly.
So being away from college, staying in a flat like that, and also it gave an opportunity to network and
Yeah.
meet people generally. So I think that is a big step in the right direction, at least in my experience and journey in Madrid. And if I have to look at it, see, each student will have their
And
own comfort, and I cannot say that what applies to me is going to necessarily apply to how it helps you. But
yeah.
what I can share is that having an open mindedness in terms of looking at different things, like, just there are just I think I did a lot of things in my time in Madrid which I generally wouldn't have done even being in Bangalore.
Yeah.
Like, just stepping out of my comfort zone, like, just like generally, where have I ever gone to a supermarket and all those things, right? Like, going and shopping for what your needs are and just taking care of it, like the necessities, and catering to what you would like. I think that independent lifestyle goes a long way, where you need to, while there is a challenge of being away from home, of course, like everyone does have that feeling, right? You want that sense of being something called your home. So once you leave India, your home, and you're going abroad, you need to remember that you're going out. You have made that conscious decision of going out there to seek that opportunity.
Yeah.
So it is hard. It is, of course, hard. You cannot. It is very easy to say that, hey, you've gone there for something bigger in life. You cannot feel bad about missing home. Of course, you will go through that spurt. You will have that feeling of speaking to your family and having all those things in mind. But at the end of the day, you need to look at the brighter side of things. Like, this is an opportunity that you are looking out for. This is a conscious decision that you have made. So now that you made this decision of going abroad, you need to look at it. Okay, how do I adapt or change my behavior or characteristic to be suited to this kind of an environment? So there are really different things that, especially students going out there and trying to make a mark there, you need to kind of create your own comfort, or your own design, your own ecosystem, and call that your home. I think that would be the biggest thing.
True, true. I would definitely agree on this because when I initially came to France, like 1 month after, I was like, I don't know how this anything is working. Like, I don't know how anything, like, even I don't know how to even adapt to the nature. But slowly, slowly, when I settled down, eventually, then I found that okay, there were so many incidences where I surprised myself that I did not know I could do it. Like, even I'm in a country where I don't speak the language, but I've adapted languages, like, I've adapted sentences from people that I meet every day, which is the grocery shop people. I never used to go out buy groceries for myself. Like, I never used to know even like what a potato will cost in India. No idea. But here I know exactly how much it cost. I also vary with, this departmental cost, departmental store is charging more, this is charging less, or that is charging way more less. So it's like all the comparisons also I know. So yeah, I think that was very different, very new. And exactly. Like everybody's journey is different. For me, I took like some 6 months to adjust into this country, into the place, into with the people, with the surroundings and everything. Some people they're just way earlier than you. But yeah, I think it's. But initially, you get settled. You settle because you start accepting like whatever is happening. It just you just have to go with the flow. You just have to accept it and then stop making excuses. And the most beautiful thing that it teaches you also to say no. I think we can't say no to people so much. And then we end up saying no that, okay, I'm tired today. Let's not do this. Let's do it some other day. I think, yeah, initially that pleasing people is something that deteriorates and that also helps you in a very different way, like a very different manner. Like once you return home, is you are a complete different person. Like you've discovered yourself, you've discovered your purpose. You want to do this, you want to do that. I think you staying in a six room apartment has helped you, like design yourself in such a way that you have seen other people and you're like, okay, maybe I can also try it, I can also do it, and that has led you to where you are right now. Right? So it's just a beautiful journey, like studying abroad, doing everything on your own. I think every person should at least, if not study, just go abroad on your own and then explore everything on your own. Then you will see like how different of a person you will become later.
Absolutely. I think the key takeaway rather is especially the kind of confidence that you build
Yeah,
being independent and also understanding what your just the kind of surroundings that you are in and the point that you mentioned about the people pleasing and saying no, that saying no aspect definitely increases
absolutely.
when you're independent and yeah I think if I can say, I think I can definitely say this, that Indians, right, when we move abroad, we understand how privileged we are being
Exactly.
in our houses, right?
Exactly.
If you yourself mentioned it earlier that you didn't even know the cost of a vegetable, how much it is back home. And when you were out there, you tried, how did that take place? You ended up being curious, you wanted to do something for yourself, and then you go out there, you chase it, and then you get it for yourself.
Yeah.
I think that is, I think if you're looking at it in terms of students that are studying abroad, that is the key takeaway, right? It's the decision that you have made, and you have to be out there. You have to be bold enough. If you're if you're bold enough to make a decision to leave your house, to leave that comfort home, I think the best thing that is suited for you is to see it through, like in terms of going out there and just at least giving it a shot, giving it a try, like giving it your best in terms of, okay, this is what you want to pursue, and just try that line, and then whatever is the outcome at that basis on that, then I think it makes a rational sense to take a call then.
Yeah. I think everybody they get a reality check after you move miles away from your house. Like, okay, the reality is completely different. I was living in a delusional world back then.
Yeah,
So
definitely.
exactly. It breaks that, it makes a barrier. So which is like really helpful, and I would say it you rather grow very mesmerizingly beautifully. Like I know both are the same meaning, but yeah, it's like you grow up very beautifully. But yeah, so when you are like abroad, and how difficult or how important was networking for you? Because I'm sure that has become like a spine and has helped you make your own business. But how difficult or how important would you describe like professional networking in a country?
If you're looking at it in terms of professional networking per se, you need
Mm.
to understand that the very words that you've used is, you need to align when you're talking about when you're aligning with someone, you need to come with a point of view, or you need to be just generally curious about what sort of aspect is applicable to your industry, or just just going out there and just kind of being curious, I think is the right word, in terms of looking out for opportunities, especially to learn. So when you're looking at networking, even today, I make this conscious practice in business that okay, not every meeting is something that I have to like convert or close, or it's going with a
Mhm.
purpose or something like that, right? I look at it in terms of an opportunity that I'm meeting someone. I get an opportunity to learn what that person, I'm in, especially in the professional field, what that person knows about the industry, and just kind of understanding, maybe I could share my 2 cents in terms of what his assistance or his help is required, and just having a conversation on a topic which is your line of pursuit or your line of passion. That itself is something encouraging, which people around you are open to discussing. It doesn't matter the language or the nationality or any of that. There's no differentiator when you're talking about sports to people from the industry. They
Mhm.
are equally as passionate, or if not more passionate than you. And when they come with their viewpoints in terms of what are their applications in the industry, how they are trying to make a difference and trying to make a mark in this growing field,
Mhm.
I think that itself is something which can be a entry level conversation point for people. If you're if now let's say a continent like Europe, right? I mean, you're in France, where I think I can, if I just engage in a conversation with someone from there, just saying that, hey, this is what I observed about PSG, and this is what I really liked about their performance. The
Mhm.
very fact that you took time off to understand more about that club, or learn, or to see that, to watch that football game, and then you're trying to give your viewpoint and things like that, I think people generally appreciate it.
Yeah.
So if you have to look at it in terms of networking, it does take some amount, some level of experience in terms of what you want to converse, how you would like to tweak your soft skills so that you can kind of strike the right kind of conversation with people. I think I would say, at least in the organization right now, so many deals have taken place just because of the simple fact that okay, like there is some sort of a conference taking place, or some sports meet, or just going out there to meet with people. I think you were part of some of those sports meet, right? So when we went out there, when just expressing to people that, hey, this is, we are in the same industry, this is what we do, and I just came across what your industry does. I'm what your company does. I'm just curious to understand more what sort of synergies we can explore, or what is it that we can help out in any way. I think speaking uh, speaking the language that people want to listen is something very important in networking. So that does take some amount of experience, you being in the industry, being associated in the industry, and I think this is a universal thing, that the more knowledge you have about a certain field, the more respect that you stand to gain. It's something universal, I would say.
But yeah, to that, like, oh wait, this always has happened with me. But was there any pivotal moments for you or any mentors that has shaped you to take a career path in sports law or being an entrepreneur or in general?
For me, my biggest inspiration is my dad. I think him being an entrepreneur for almost 35 plus years of his life. I think growing up um, in that household where you kind of see every day the kind of hustle that takes place, going out there, giving it your best shot, and trying. It's not. It's at the end of the day, you're trying to create something that is going to be useful for people.
Mm-hmm.
So you need to, even when you're talking about business, generating money, all of those things, yes, that is something universal when it comes to business. But are you doing something that can change someone's life, or are you changing some aspect of the sports industry, or some innovation that you're bringing into the picture? So I think once you chase that, the money of course will follow suit, because when you're trying something and you might try 99 times, but the one time it clicks, that is good enough for people to take notice of you. So I think for me, my biggest inspiration is my father in terms of pursuing the entrepreneurial journey. Along the way, yes, of course, I have to give credit where it's due. I have met fantastic individuals along the way, people from the sports industry uh, who I would say have taken the time off to kind of guide you, to kind of teach you certain things, that okay, this is the thing that is going to work. This is, and you need people, sometimes to give you that sort of a reality check. So as a entrepreneur, sometimes you feel that, hey, I'm going in a certain way. This is my creation. I'm doing it in a certain way, and this is what I'm going to pursue.
Yeah.
But then you need to understand that you've chosen this journey to take the knocks and also take the learning. So when people actually give you a reality check, that is where you need to be humble enough to kind of, okay, reflect on what exactly happened. This is what was done. Okay, how do we better this approach? How do we tweak this approach?
Mhm.
So that sort of a reality check can come from your mentors, it could come from business experiences, it could come from situations that take place. So I think just the fact that you got to be out there trying, and just, um, for me especially, is whenever I meet fellow entrepreneurs and try to understand more about their journey, I think there is a key takeaway all the time, because that each has their own struggle and their journey, and if there is some aspect that they have conquered and some element of which I can apply to my business, I'd be more than happy to learn from them. So I think these are some of my few key takeaways.
I think you said that you listen to all the other entrepreneurs just to learn from them. And that was my motive to do this podcast. Like, I found out that I can listen to people now, which I never used to do that earlier. I think you know this.
Yeah, you can
I
tell me
listen to
about it.
people now patiently, and I listen to their struggles, I listen to their stories, and that somewhere makes me feel better thinking that I am not the only one who's going through all these changes, who's going through all these mindset shifts. I think there are people with me, or they have had these kind of, syndromes, and so it's normal to feel that way, feel left out, feel lonely, or not being able to figure out what you want. I think these are all, a little reality checks that makes you just better with time. So I think that is something that, again, this podcast, I think entrepreneurial journey also teaches a lot of things when you sit there and just listen to people and their experiences.
Absolutely, I think uh, the the differentiator between a successful entrepreneur and someone who is, I mean, I wouldn't say entrepreneurship only per se, but the difference between people who are successful and people who are not, the only difference is that the successful people might have tried 99 times, but the one time it worked, right? But the thing is that they tried 100 times.
Exactly.
So
Wait, I'll
that is
cut
how
you
you need to look.
there. I'll cut you there. This meeting is ending again. I'll share you another link.
Okay.
I recorded this, yes. I wanted to ask you this question, but since there are like two entrepreneurs in the same house, under the same roof, so do you get into like beef with some disagreement, saying that no, I know better than you, or you just don't know what how these people they work now in this century or something?
Difference of opinion is always there, that I'm not going to deny. Of course, if you have to look at the industries that we are in as well, if he well he's established himself in the technology space, and he's doing some really revolutionary things with the AI space in the insurance and healthcare sector in the US markets. And if you look at my our industry, rather, the sports industry is something which doesn't necessarily confine to the norms of how a traditional business is done.
Mm.
It is something which is, being a niche industry, you're trying to create your own process along the way. So of course there will be the difference of opinions, and we will get into the disagreements, but that is the thing, right? The beauty of it is that because we have, both of us, dad and I, are entrepreneurs, we try to understand more about each other's
Mm.
space. And we do have some of those conversations, which I'm really happy to have them with him. But of course, the journey also along the way, you kind of become distant in a way that you're okay, you're no longer a student now, you're pursuing something you want in life. Everyone has their own journey, so of course you don't get all of that time to spend with each other and all that. He will, at the end of the day, he's hustled and come back home, I'm gonna hustle and come back home. And yeah, it's not, whenever we do get the chance to interact, we it is something that we try to kind of learn of each other. And of course, I can say that I learn a lot more from him.
Hey, that's good to hear. I wish I can say the same thing, but it's okay.
No, of course. See, I have this um, I would say an supportive ecosystem, right? And it is something where okay, I am lucky to have my father being an entrepreneur and trying to observe a lot of the skills required to sustain or to run a business rather. So I wouldn't say that that should be the hard stop for people. I think for people who are trying to follow their own passion, sometimes your mentor could be your father, sometimes it could be someone out there like your college director, or even people in specialists in your industry. So I think having that open mindedness in terms of trying to learn from someone who has excelled in their field is going to create opportunities for you.
No, I mean, definitely. For me, I would rather say it's a little opposite because my dad is not an entrepreneur, he's a service person. And my mom's dad, like my Nana ji, was an entrepreneur. And since he died when I was very little, couldn't understand his journey or something. But my mom has always that mindset that, I have to do something on my own. But since I took all the privileges at home from her as well, she couldn't do it. But I would rather say that my parents, they never, even though they had a very different mindset from every other parents. My mom, she always wanted to put me into academics, where my dad always wanted me to pursue into sports. And since my mom changed that mindset of hers, and she always supported me with my when I was an athlete career that time, and even when I wanted to pursue something abroad or maybe with in some other country or other state, I think my parents, they never questioned me back, saying that why do you want to do it? They always were like, okay, you want to do it, you go and do it. They never said no to anything that I've done till date. I think that support, I would always be happy, and I'm privileged that my parents, they have given me that freedom or given me that open stage where I can explore being what I want to be on my own. So yeah, I think every family also has a different story. For you, you got inspiration from your dad, and then that has helped you to build a company on your own. And I think for me, I think supporting, like having like a proper support system is something that is constantly making me do the things that I want to do in my life. I think yeah, it's like always like a win-win situation.
No, I think you're being very I think you need to give credit where it's due to yourself as well, Amrita, because when you joined us, I think I still remember the kind of chirpy girl you were when you had joined, but the kind of courage you had, right? Like, given your background, like being from the state of West Bengal, then pursuing your your graduation in, I think, in Mumbai, right? And then after that, you came down to Bangalore to kind of explore the opportunity. So it speaks volumes in terms of, I don't think a lot of people at that age would have that courage to kind of relocate so confidently like the way you did. So especially you did mention the kind of supportive ecosystem that you had with your parents, very encouraging of your decisions. That builds a lot of courage in life. So it is clear. And here we are today. You are interviewing me from Paris.
Yes, I am doing that from Paris, but yes, I think I'm like fortunate enough to get that parents because a lot of my in my friend circle only, their parents they don't leave home and then they don't go pursuing something on their own, only because their mother won't want this or maybe their family isn't supporting them. So I never had that kind of problem. I might as well have a little bit financial problems, but my dad always solved it like a genie. He's like, "You want it? Okay, I'll solve it for you," like that. But yeah, I think I'll give credit to myself once I achieve what I want in life. But till now, I think whatever I am, it's only because of the people that I've met, I've learned, has guided me and have showed me the right path, starting from my parents, starting from my friends, starting from all the companies that I worked in. The more it's not because of the podcast, I would say, but more of like majorly my staying in Bangalore, and I have invested my a lot of time with Vilay Sports for 1.5 years, and I think that has helped me be the person that I am, like outspoken, more confident. I think you know this, that I couldn't speak. I was like, what to even say? And I started sitting for the meetings, and then I started speaking to a lot of people. I started doing things on my own. I had a new vision, a new creativity inside me, and then that has led me to even have this podcast. If I was shy, I wouldn't have been that encouraging or maybe that dedicated towards doing a podcast, sitting at home listening to other person's journey or story, or to network as well. I think, yeah, don't
Yeah,
have
awesome.
words.
No, I think you should continue this because of the kind of platform it creates, right? Apart from me, you've had like different folks coming with their perspective, and you're talking about what is the kind of life that people lead out there. And not many people are doing the kind of work that you are doing. So, yeah, I think, see, at the end of the day, you're trying to do something to help people. And I think there a lot of great things are lined up for you, Amrita.
I, I hope so too. But yes, that brings to the next question, which is many international students they struggle with homesickness, isolation, or even like burnouts. So, what are some ways you personally managed these challenges when you were an international student?
Considering the previous exposures I've had traveling abroad, I wouldn't necessarily say that I did have that homesickness, that I was deprived in any way, that I wanted to head back home immediately at the earliest. That wasn't necessarily like what exactly I had in mind. But of course, I did have those, that you did get that sense, right, that you're so far away from home and you're on your own, and you do feel that, okay, like what is this, like I'm kind of alone, like in my free time. If I was here back home, I would have called this friend, I would have gone here, I would have done this. But here it's like something very different. There are different ways of how you could look at it. You need like I said earlier, you need to create an ecosystem that works for you. So
Mhm.
for me, being in Madrid, I think I would have played the most amount of football in my life. I don't think I would have played that much of sports back home. And apart from that, just generally traveling, or kind of just exploring the city where you are, right? Keeping yourself positively distracted, going, because I mean, even you have to remember that the kind of places that people are going for masters, these are beautiful locations. You
Exactly.
cannot just like lose sight of okay, I'm missing home, and then miss out on what is the beauty that is there right beside you. So
True.
you need to like I don't think I would have done any sort of I going out of my way to explore something back home, but I did tend to do a lot more. I think in Madrid. And
Yeah.
just going, I think I would even trying to go watch a football match by myself at the Bernabeu.
Wow.
I think that itself was a huge enlightening moment, because yes, of course you if you have your friends, your batchmates and all, you're going for that match, but just trying to get that experience by yourself, you just go out there, you explore what is the kind of stadium atmosphere that is there, just different things to keep yourself positively occupied. I think that can definitely help people who are away from home. And if you are if you do have a certain sense of hobbies,
Mhm.
traveling abroad actually gives you a lot more opportunities to kind of reconnect with yourself. So if you did have any long lost hobbies that you would like to reconsider, I think that is also a positive distraction that you can have, especially for students who do have this homesickness. And it is challenging at the end of the day. You're living, you're a foreigner, you're living abroad, and you need to understand that how are you trying to create a mark for yourself,
Mm.
like being independent. So kind of having positive distractions would definitely help.
Mm. I'm 100% agreeing to it, because even I have some moments where I don't know what to do and I just keep scrolling my laptop. I don't have the urge to watch another series or a movie or something, or to read a book, or to write something like a journal or something. Then I just scroll my phone, or just, your head just goes to a different universe, I would say. Not overthinking, but it's just a universe that you think that, oh, it was possible to settle down in Europe, or you never thought about it when you were a kid. And maybe when I pass Eiffel Tower or any other landmarks over here in Paris, and I just look at it and just zone out for 2 minutes. I'm like, wow, I didn't thought that this was something that I would be doing in my 20s. So I think, yeah, it's like you said, like discovering your new hobbies, or maybe exploring new places, or maybe just, doing something like, build a new hobby, like just explore. That is what I would say. Just explore, go for a run, or maybe go for a long walk, or maybe just randomly take a metro or a train and go to some other place, and then just, yeah, just be by yourself, love your own company. I think that it teaches you to just love your own company, I would say. That, if
Absolutely, I think having a purpose, right? Like, okay, you're doing your masters, okay, to get a job abroad, or to join this place or to join that place, okay, that's definitely your priority. But I think along the way, the kind of experiences that you have, that is in a way going to shape you as an individual. And if you do end up securing that job outside of India, like it's solely because of the kind of you went there with the purpose, and there's a certain sense of fulfillment, right? That you went out there by yourself, you wanted to pursue this journey, and then at the end of it you see it through in entirety, and you get the kind of role that you really want. See, it is very easy to say that okay, you're going to pursue your masters, your objective is going there, getting a job, and that is, you need to settle out there. It's a in theory it is very simple to say this, but practically, like, each person is different, right? You cannot A person who's good in India may not necessarily be good abroad, or a person who wasn't so good over here may actually excel out there in an uncomfortable environment.
yeah.
So I think kind of uh, I would use the word revitalizing your purpose time and again in terms of aligning with your goals and what is your sense of purpose going out there. I think that really shapes you as a person.
100%. But yeah, what would you say are some underrated but powerful platforms or communities that helped you settle in or grow your personal, no, grow personally? Sorry.
You, if you're looking at communities or platforms, do you mean like what sort of like groups or people that I came
Maybe
across
like
out there?
from university, which helps you to build a strong network, or very underrated. Not a lot of people they know about it, or they don't go for it. Something like that. Maybe something like LinkedIn or some apps, or maybe some community like in Paris. There is a running community where it is good for people to network. Can be from from various parts of the world. They just run for like an hour or so, and then it's just a community building which helps you to communicate with people and to meet new people. There's a lot of like pottery classes or like that.
Got it. So I think you pretty much kind of answered it in terms of aligning it with the universities, right? Like as a international student, your university is someone who can you can count on all the time. You need to kind of bank on them in terms of looking at okay. What sort of things that you can kind of do to explore or to enhance what sort of program that you are doing. Like for example, in I did not know, I'll give you one instance. When I was in Madrid,
Mm.
so my batchmates and I, all the international, so like 3 to 4 of us, the international students, we did not know how to read Spanish that clearly, and we did not kind of understand it. And one day we are just like finished with our assignment, and then we are walking, and there's something on the notice board, and the only word that the words that I could recognize is Davis Cup. So I was like, okay, like what exactly is this? I kind of take out the phone and I just see, and I see the translation, and it's mentioned clearly that the students have a chance to get discounted prices to watch Spain versus Russia, the Davis Cup tie, the semifinals. And we are like, oh, this is happening in Madrid, and we weren't even aware of something like this. And then we go up to the administration, and then they're like, it's something that they're not even surprised. Oh, they're like, oh, you want to go for the match? Okay, yeah, sure. Like, you can go over here. This is the place you can go purchase your ticket. This is where you can avail your student discount and your vouchers. You'll get your free meals. I mean, not free meals. You'll get some your snack or a drink associated with it, and with your ticket, and then you can go. And then that struck me like, okay, so that means the university is providing the opportunity, but they are not going to go out of the way to push for these sort of things for you. It's
Mm.
something that you need to learn, you need to be more curious. And I think just being part of the university and just understanding like the program, what is going on around you, I think that goes a long way, especially in terms of the community or the group that kind of helped me around Madrid during my time there. Of course, apart from that, you do make your friends, you create your friend circle, and you know who you're comfortable with, and going and exploring going and exploring the city generally as foreigners is different vibe altogether. Both of you are clueless, and I mean, he and like as a group you're kind of clueless, you would say, and then you go and explore it together and you learn the same thing together, right? So I think all of those things definitely will help during your time abroad.
Yeah, I think even I had that kind of shared journey with one of my classmates only. She and we went to explore the city, like two, three locations, and we were very new that time. Like it's in the beginning last year, September or October, when the classes initially started. And that time we had like an orientation day and all of that. So we went, we did not know how the train lines work or how the metro lines work. There are like so many different, we took the wrong train. And then when we are checking, we did not see like the next stop was not the same in our phones and on the train, like the train stop. So we went like three, four stops ahead, and then we came back again, and then we were again in the same place. I think it's very funny if I talk about it now, but that time I was panicking. But yeah, I think you make new memories, you make new experiences. I had one incident where I was with my classmates when I was coming back from Germany because we had a study trip there, and we had to change the train from one of the stations, and I took the wrong train to Switzerland. That was very scary. But there was another person with me, a stranger. She helped me all the way back, to come back to Paris, and she didn't even take money in return. She was like, I'll help you get back to Paris. We are a student, I understand. But when I was supposed to reach Paris in an hour, it took me 3 hours, 3 hours to get back to Paris again. So I think yeah, at that point of time it was stupidity, but I have a story to tell. Like it's a different experience altogether. Like a stranger helping out another stranger. It's funny now, but back then it was not. But yeah,
I mean, if you think about it, right, you ensure that okay, whether you were a shy person or not, it doesn't matter. You need to ask your way out of this situation. So you
exactly.
need help, you ask someone and you go. So
Yeah.
it's something that you kind of adapt by yourself. So yeah, it's something that you can
True,
definitely keep it etched to your memory.
true, very true. But yes, if you could go back in time, what's one thing you wish someone told you before you moved abroad?
I would the main thing is in terms of kind of preparing myself to become that independent person. I think that is one key aspect. If you're looking at it in a hypothetical sense, yes, if someone had mentioned to me that this is how independent you got to be and you need to be like on your toes literally about every single aspect of your life abroad. There's no one to guide you, no one to spoon feed you, and you have to go out there and you need to create a mark by yourself, right? So as a as a person you need to grow thick skin to understand in terms of how life is going to be out there, how independent you're going to be out there, and yeah, I think uh, that would be a key takeaway because I don't want to get into in terms of what aspect I would have changed or anything like that. I don't think I would have changed anything about my experience in Madrid. But yes, if you were looking at it, if someone would ask me if I would go back in time, maybe my preparedness to become independent, I could have probably done some work on that.
Okay, that brings to the next question is what's one piece of advice you'd give to someone who's currently feeling stuck or lost in their study abroad journey?
Well, as a entrepreneur today, I think I can share this one aspect because throughout the journey of your entrepreneurship, you're faced with certain situations where you feel that you're kind of lost and things are not going your way, and that's sort of a relatable aspect, I would think of it.
Mhm.
See, the more you sit and think that hey, I am in this position and I'm helpless and I'm not able to do anything about it. If honestly, if you look at it, Amrita, the moment you start taking action about certain things, whether it works or it doesn't work, it doesn't matter. But the moment you're keeping yourself occupied through some form of an action, I think that itself can enable a person to kind of get out of that mindset of feeling stuck. If you're feeling stuck, you should also consider the fact that you're not doing anything about that situation to kind of get out of it. So
Right.
if you feel that you're stuck about a certain thing or whatever it may be, your assignment or your submissions on time or an exam or anything as such, like yeah, just you know don't take like life as seriously that oh it's a life and death or anything as such. You need to go with the flow and say that, okay, this is a challenge given to you, think of a solution out of it.
Yeah.
Each person is going to think I think every individual is creative, and you need to think about a way what would kind of suit your strength to kind of get out of that situation of being stuck. So if anyone is feeling stuck, I think the biggest advice I would give is just take action.
Mm, true. Like, again, I think I've told you this story before we started the episode today. So that I almost misplaced my passport to the wrong address when I was applying for South Korea. But then, yeah, like you said, taking action is like, I panicked, obviously, because it's my passport. It's original passport. It's not like a PDF or something. So I went to the post office and they were pretty helpful. So they helped me, and now it has reached to the right location, to the right place. And yeah, I think I went looking for solution, and I got myself a solution. It's like asking for help. I think people can also do the same thing. It's like if you feel stuck and if you want to speak to somebody or maybe you want some help, just go ask for it. I think that in itself brings a lot of clarity in you because you sometimes you don't want to hear what you want to hear. Like, sorry, sometimes you don't want to hear what you need to hear and you only want to hear what you want to hear. So I think that like that clarifies a lot of things in itself. Like, you listen to what is needed at the point and not what you think in your delusional world that you want to do this and this is gonna just happen in a fluke. So yeah,
Yeah, definitely. Key takeaway is take action.
take action, just do it. But yeah, for those dreaming of starting their own venture abroad, what are some mindset shifts or first step they should keep in mind?
Someone who is going abroad, you mentioned, right? Who wants
Abroad
to
or
pursue
just
or
want
starting a journey for something for themselves. Okay, got it.
just a new venture. Yeah.
Be brave enough in terms of making decisions that would generally not be suited for you, I think. And when you do make mistakes, or when you do face rejections, remember that it is nothing personal, and it is only something that did not strike value at that point of time.
Like,
So the moment you have this mindset shift, automatically you also start thinking in a way, how does this solve the other person's problem? Will my tool or service actually provide a solution to this particular problem? So the moment you start having that sort of a mindset, I think automatically everything else will fall in line. But uh, you need to understand that along the journey you're going to face a lot of rejections. Like that is one thing, not just in India, around the world, the way successful entrepreneurs are glorified, right? They only talk about the one thing that actually click, but how many of them actually talk about the number of times that they have tried?
exactly.
So you need to understand that people who are successful today is only because they tried again. So you need to take stock of that. And today I'm able to share all of these experiences because I've had this journey along the way. So I've also had a proper reality check along the way, because initially I was very rigid in my mindset that this particular way you need to think only like in this sort of lateral thinking, that this is how it is going to work, this is how you're going to get out of the problem. But ultimately, if it doesn't work, then you get a very harsh reality check about, okay, if I wasn't so adamant or arrogant, rather to learn of a new solution, maybe it could have worked differently.
Mm,
So that along the way is something. And also you try to get into this mode that as someone who's starting off a journey by themselves, be it in entrepreneurship, be it and working in a particular federation or working in the industry generally,
yeah.
you need to, whatever role that you have got whatever that you are doing at the moment, you need to understand that there will be some bumps along the way, but you need to think about solution. Okay, that has happened, kind of move on, take the learnings and move on,
Yeah.
and try to uh, each time that I think when you were also part of that journey, where each time we kind of face that rejection for a particular deal and things like that. Yes, it is as an entrepreneur you can't help but think that okay, this is your creation, you've put so much time, sweat, money, effort, everything into it, and it is not clicking, and you keep kind of badgering yourself that I have done all of this, it's not working, it's not working. Okay, now think about it in a more broader perspective that okay, now you have tried something, try something different, and maybe the next time when you have this sort of a situation, do not kind of apply the same way that you did in the earlier sense. So these are the few things that you would that I would definitely share, that has shaped my mindset. I think especially in the last few years, whatever progress that we have seen at Vilay Sports, it's purely in terms of the not just my mindset, but the entire team's mindset to take action, take that onus of developing an action, that okay, when you are, this is the thing, the task given, how do you see it through end to end? Now whatever the outcome is, that is not in your hands, but just like whatever you had to do, you do diligently, and yeah, you just hope for the best.
True. I mean, yeah, very true. I think we all watched. You remember, we took a break from work, and then we were watching Air on Amazon Prime, and the journey of Nike. I think I read a book also on that called Shoe Dog, and it's amazing. I think, like you said, that not everything will tick. You just have to keep going on, going on, going on. I'm sure Nike is in a lot of, due diligence. They have a lot of things going on in itself. Like it's all over the social media that there are certain issues that goes on with every company, I'm sure. But the journey that they have started from and where they have landed with signing Michael Jordan when they had the top competitors in the market, I think that was something that, like, it gives you those kind of thrill that you can also do it. If they could do it, a company where they had no withstand, and then they beated all their competitors in the market and signed the most legendary player of all times, Michael Jordan, as their brand ambassador, as the part of the Nike. I think the journey just speaks itself. They did not see that, how they did it, how they broke all kinds of codes to get that player on board, or maybe how they did all kinds of deals to build up Nike in general. So I think Nike's journey is something that I've always looked up to. I think I've said
I,
a
I I think one of the biggest key takeaway for me from that, the moment when he watched that documentary, that next couple of days and weeks, we were thinking about okay, like these guys tried different things, like and like they never gave up, like at any given point. And I think that's where the key takeaway, the quote is there, right? Success is not defined in the outcome, success is defined in the process. So that is,
yeah.
so be it in a journey for your masters, or be it in an entrepreneurial journey, or whatever you're doing in your professional life or career, you need to understand that you create an ecosystem, or you create certain habits that drive successful results in your process. I think the outcome is going to be favorable in your way.
True. I think there's one quote that I really look up to now. It's on also on my phone screen, which says, "If you can dream it, you can do it," by Enzo Ferrari. And
Mhm.
since I watch a lot of Formula and Formula One matches, races, and also the series and etc., I think yeah, that is the one quote that kept me going. That if I have dreamt it, then obviously I have to live it. I can do it. Like it just prompts you in a very, very generic way. And I think everybody needs that kind of quote in their life that they look up to I mean, which keeps on pumping, like how you mentioned the quote from the movie Air. I think, yeah, it keeps on going. You still remember, we have seen it so many years ago. So, yeah, exactly the point. So there's so many things people have to keep going on with. But
Yeah,
yeah.
I can imagine. Yeah. So, and especially right now, no, with the kind of uncertainties that are there around the world and people looking at masters. Of course, see, times have changed. It's no longer the case of how it was maybe 1 to 2 decades ago, and the competition is very stiff. You need to consider a lot of um, new circumstances that are there currently that weren't there back then.
Mhm.
So people need to, you don't need to beat yourselves up about it. Of course, you need to give it your best shot, right? You're
True.
going there, you give it your best shot, and then you need to see whatever comes your way.
Okay, so what's something you always miss about home?
I can cook to the point where I can manage to survive, but
Hmm.
I wouldn't recommend my cooking to others.
I feel sad for your wife.
Hey, that's why she cooks for me.
Man, you won't even give 1 day break to that woman. Okay, your go-to comfort food abroad.
I would say pasta.
Hmm. A sports figure you look up to.
Rafael Nadal.
Hmm. I think he's a lot of people's inspiration. One
I
book.
got the, I got the opportunity to be taught by him for a guest lecture, so that
Oh
is
my
something.
God, I'm jealous of you now. I'm
Yeah,
jealous. But yeah, what was the learning from that masterclass?
the I think the way he expresses himself on the court, I think off the court, the kind of success he has today, with the way he's inspiring talent, the kind of people that are coming out of his academy, it's purely through the kind of foundations and fundamentals that are there. Like
Mhm.
it's for example in India, right, when you're given a bat and you perform with it, if you're a cricketer as a batter,
Mm.
your bat is something which is your it is your weapon per se, which you're taking to go to war.
Yeah, yeah.
So if you look at what Nadal has done in his career, in his life, he has never broken a racket on live TV.
Yes.
Never. So, and that is purely because the guy is so humble enough to say that this is what has given me this life and opportunity. So I'm not going to ever do something negative to it. And he when he mentioned that during the masterclass, I think that was something that's etched in the memory, because your work, at the end of the day, you need to, if you do justice to the work does justice to you. So I think that was the biggest learning with Nadal.
No, fairly said. But yeah, I think all these people, they become like someone's inspiration or people they look up to because of a reason. I think you look up to Nadal because he has that kind of discipline, he maintains himself, or something about a person's aura, like how you said, like
the
even if
the
you
never give up attitude, right? Like
exactly.
the number of times, like the way he has come out of situations where the match is pretty much done, and then he does some ridiculous things. So I think that is something that is really inspiring.
True. I think all these famous people, they have an aura, I would say. They generally builds up with time, but yeah, definitely they carry an aura with self. I think when I met your dad, also your dad has that kind of aura, that I have come so far away, like so much of knowledge he has, definitely. And it's a very
Easily.
big question that you are seriously your dad's son. You both look so different. Like you both have a
For
yeah.
clarifying that. Yeah, otherwise, God knows what people are going to think. But yeah, thanks for clarifying
No,
that.
that's why I clarified it now. Like you don't look like your mom, neither your dad. Your mom is very. different, your dad is different, and you are like completely opposite of what they are. So
Yes, yes. Uh,
how do you,
I've had growing up. I've had enough of that. The adopted jokes and all of those things. So yes, I understand where you're coming from.
I'll definitely say now also, I think you're adopted.
Thank you for defining me to the entire world that I'm adopted. Thank you.
Are you?
No, what's wrong with you?
Okay, yeah. But one book or quote or podcast that changed your perspective towards life.
Atomic Habits.
Oh, the book.
Yeah,
I've not read it, but yeah, for me it would be Shoe Dog. It's
it's
very inspirational book. But yeah, okay. To end up with our episode today, the last question, the one question that I always ask all of my guests is, if you could go back in time, what is the one thing you would say your younger self?
I did have an active pursuit in sports,
Mhm.
considering that sports has been a pivotal journey in my life. I definitely could consider the opportunity of pursuing sports again.
Would you like do it now, or like in your future or something?
I, I think I'm living the sports dream in through the entrepreneurial journey, but as a hypothetical question, because I've been a competitive athlete growing up, always if I could go back in time and live that journey again, I would love to.
I think yeah, everybody should at a point, because it firstly, yeah, you love that thing. Secondly, it also helps you, keep your health correct and right. Like it puts you in a good mood when you do something that you love. And yeah. But yes,
Absolutely.
Siddharth, thank you so much for sharing your wisdom and enlightening every individual who is listening today, and especially me. But yeah, thank you so much for making out time. I know how busy you are, and yeah, this means a lot. I would actually say this. But yeah, how
And
do you feel about the whole podcast episode today?
if we have to look at the kind of topics we have covered, right? The kind I have shared some relatable insights, I would say. Otherwise, usually if I have to look at it, people ask some generic kind of business related questions. But I think that a podcast is something where you are on a platform and you need to be you need to keep it like keep it simple and keep it informative. Like people are there to listen, so
Exactly.
they're listening for a reason. They want to, they're curious to know something. So
Mhm.
if you can deliver what they want to know, so I think that that's definitely is a useful aspect about podcasts.
But yeah, any last words of wisdom you want to share?
I I think you should continue this podcast series for the very reason that people are not going to stop going abroad, and
Yeah.
people are going to face a lot of these
Mhm.
uh, situations where they are away from home. They could be homesick or they could be stuck in terms of their journey, and
Right.
just listening to people share their journeys, their different insights. There's people lead different lives, so just that it offers a sense of comfort for people who are trying to pursue something on their own.
True. But yes, thank you so much again for sharing your journey of starting, being a lawyer and then the sports lawyer and then your own company, which is Vilay Sports. I think people should definitely go out, like, spam Siddharth with your resume, with your emails and everything, and he'll be happy to reply to it.